Yo, what's crack-a-lackin'? How's everyone doing today? Guys, last night, if you're in Australia, I started launching our nightly live stream. So it's for the Aussies. We know we have that Australian card the end of the week this Friday in Brisbane. So all week I'll be doing this live stream, which is 8:30 a.m. Australia time, as well as the second live stream, which will be around 6:30 p.m. Australian time. So no matter wherever you are in the world, I say welcome. Let me know where you are by tapping in, and we'll get into this. We have a lot to talk about. There's two cards. There's a Golden Boy card. There's a couple rematches on that card. Curiel Rocha. We got Gucci Flores versus Jorge Chavez on that card. And then we obviously have Australia headlined with Nikita and Michael Zerafa. So we'll get into all that. We'll talk about the odds. There is a little bit of news that just broke about an hour ago. I'll start there, and as you guys are tapping in, say what's up. Let me know how you're doing. And we got another week in front of us. I'll play it for you. Oscar De La Hoya just announced on his Instagram that there is an official date for Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. This is the same Ryan Garcia who failed a drug test against Devin Haney, albeit looking good, but failed. Big sort of blemish on his legacy. The same Ryan Garcia in his get-back fight after a year out of the ring got dropped against Rolly Romero and lost after that fight. Months had passed. Rolly was then elevated. Rolly is a legit world champion, two-division world champion now. He has a belt at 147. The same Ryan Garcia now, who after both of those performances, one being tainted with drugs, the other being a loss, he's now fighting for a world title. Say what you will about it. It's going down in February. I'm going to play you guys De La Hoya, and then we could talk about our feelings or how we feel about it.
A big announcement today. Ryan Garcia versus Barrios is finalized. It will happen February 21st in Las Vegas. And as you already know, Benavidez versus Zurdo is also set for Cinco de Mayo weekend here in Las Vegas. That will be an absolute banger. Now, all that's left to be sorted out for the first quarter of 26 is who Virgil's next opponent will be. I said 3 days ago that I'll sign immediately for a 60-40 fight with boots with 5% to the winner, which is fucking crazy generous considering Virgil Ortiz has the better resume. Boots is interchangeable with Fundora and Errol Spence. He needs this fight with Virgil far more than we do. But I'm willing to make the fight. Oscar. I'm willing to make the fight. Let's do this. Eddie, I haven't heard from you. And if I don't by the end of the day, I'm going to start discussions with other opponents, with Al Heyman and PBC. Oh, and surprise, motherfuckers. Al and I made peace, and we are united now. We literally can put on bangers all year with the rosters we have here in America. So, if anybody has an offer, you better come in fucking guns blazing, because we are committed to making the biggest.
All right, so that was a bit of a loaded video. So we have a lot to talk about. Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez. He said that's going to go down. Benavidez and Zurdo, that's going to go down in May. I want to see Benavidez and Jaya Pataya, but I don't have any power. I'm not a powers that be. You know, that's just what I would want to watch. But oh well, that's not going to happen. He announced, Barrios versus Garcia, but he only said one thing. I thought that would get more pub. He barely said anything about Garcia and Barrios. That's going down February the 3rd week. It's good for us fight fans. It's happening in about 5 weeks, so that's exciting. We'll see. I mean, does Garcia deserve a world title shot? Who knows? Who cares? He's fighting for a world title against Barrios. We'll see how that goes down. And then the interesting bit, the more controversial bit, is his take on Jaron Ennis and Virgil. If you guys are paying attention to the news ticker, 60-40 split, him reconnecting with PBC and Al Heyman. That's some breaking news. So we'll see what happens. This is the negotiating side of boxing, the tiresome side of boxing. They're all trying to pivot and sort of shoehorn themselves in the proper position to, at the end of the day, make the most money in their pockets at the behest of their prize fighters. Do, as boxing fans, we deserve Boots Ennis and Virgil next, 100%. Fingers crossed. I want to see that next. I think the whole world wants to see that next, Virgil versus Boots. And hopefully they could get together and do the right thing on the negotiation side. So in the comment section below, let me know. Barrios versus Ryan. How do you see that one going? And obviously we have time. We'll break that fight down. We'll talk about it. Zerto versus Benavidez. Is that the fight we want to see in terms of Benny's trajectory? Is that the fight you want to see for Zerto? And then disregarding the split, disregarding the purse, it's going to be the topic of conversation all 2026 until this fight becomes official, is Boots versus Virgil. So this is going to be another one of these fights that'll be closely contested behind the scenes with a lot of people like myself projecting, predicting, and talking about it. So those are some talking points. We are going to get into the betting side of things today. I wanted to start there. Wherever you are, like this video, and I'm going to start saying my what's ups to people. Guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, join it. As you can see, Big Shadow, all the boys that you're going to see commenting on our live that are spotlighted, these are insiders. We have about 350 in our Discord. It's not just boxing. It's a betting sports community. It's a sports community, guys. We have American football. Every major sport is in there that you could learn from, that you could wager on. But the root and the heartbeat of our Discord is boxing. Johnny says boxing on Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. You could join our Patreon as well. That link is pinned. Same price. If you join if you join on YouTube or the Patreon, you get access. Big Shadow, I saw you live at 2 a.m. Yeah, it was your 2 a.m. It was my 7 p.m. Yeah, I'm just trying to do more. I need to life in order for us to grow as people. Whatever we're doing, we have to every now and then reconfigure our systems. We have to listen to the ethos of whatever industry you're in, and you have to make adjustments. So in 2025, I was doing live streams, kind of live stream one, and then 4 hours later, I would do a second one, and it kind of got cluttered. So I'm spreading them out this year. I'm also launching MMA. So we have the MMA channel in our Discord, but I'm also going to be doing a Stats Don't Lie video series, getting back to my original content about 5 years ago, which the channel was all MMA, and I'll be bringing on MMA content creators just as I do with boxing. The only GK, what up, Jay? Did some tape today. I don't like what I see from either fighter. As of now, I got Nikita just because he's younger and stronger. Zerafa does not impress me. Same, bro. GK, during our live stream last night, and this is the benefit from both sides. From my side as a guy who's a lifelong boxer, boxing fan, analyst, content creator, author, I have to learn from the conversation too. So I don't know if it was you in the live stream last night, but somebody brought up a fact that was very interesting. We brought up both fighters' resumes, Zerafa and Nikita. This will be Michael Zerafa's 40th pro fight. This will be Nikita's 11th or 12th, right? That alone, obviously, experience, Zerafa. And then when you look at the resumes, the names on the resume, disregard the Chalk Mundine victory because Chalk was far from his prime when Zerafa beat him. Every other big name on that resume, Kell Brook, Lara, Horn, former world champions, he lost. So that kind of negates the whole, Zerafa beat the domestic guys he was supposed to beat, but at the world level, he always fell short. Now, Nikita, on the other hand, with only 11 wins, he's the greener guy, inexperienced, awkward, punching power. He has the youth on it. He's the smaller guy. They're fighting at a catch weight, I think, of 72 kilos. Nikita has a win over Dylan Biggs. Talk about a victory that is aging gracefully. Dylan just performed like a true champion in the WBC Grand Prix and won it. And Nikita, there's probably a conversation to have. That win over Dylan is probably stronger than any win Mick has, especially over the last 5 years. So it is, right now it's 50-50 money. 24 hours ago, I was convinced I was going to take Zerafa. Now I'm kind of, I'm actually probably 60-40 Nikita now. King of Fitness. People were mad when Errol was going to fight Seb. They better be mad at Ricky Martin. They better be mad. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it. And you guys know on the channel, I'm a Errol Spence Jr. fan. I wasn't mad. I think the people were still kind of worried about Errol, but like he got beat up against Bud. He did. He got belt to ass in the car accidents, but it was a sustained ass whipping too. But he didn't go unconscious. I use that because he's teasing a comeback, guys. Like it or love it or like it or hate it or be excited about it because everyone's going to be torn. All you have to do is follow Errol Spence on his Instagram, and you'll see, especially over the last 12 weeks, he's been, posting on his story his boxing gloves, posting quotes, posting him shirtless. He has a six pack. He says he's in fight shape. Rumors are, I heard some of the boys in Philly talking about he's been making the rounds at the boxing gyms. People signing NDAs, so nobody's behind the scenes, nobody's saying, no one's really talking, the fighters and the coaches. But rumor is he was, I heard rumors he was sparring up in Philly. He was getting work in. And so I referenced the fact that, like, if people were hating on Errol saying that he should just retire because he took too much damage, his last fight was July 2023. He's had 2 years off. He's had 2 years to recover, 2+ years. I think he's going to make another run. I mean, I don't think it's shocking to see if you're playing pattern recognition and you're looking at his Instagram and you're listening to the boys in Philly and you're seeing what he looks like physically. This is a guy that, in between fights before in his career, he would put on weight. This dude's been walking around for months ripped with a six pack. So if people were mad about Errol fighting Seb, a lot of the stuff I was hearing is that they were just worried about him. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I'm not excited to see Ryan. I'm never excited to see Ryan Garcia fight. Sorry, he doesn't tick the boxes for me. What's up, Humble Crumble? Oscar talking shit. He using Tyson Fury and he goes, wise man, Kiza B. He's using Tyson Fury negotiation tactics. Now Boots would smoke Virgil. They don't want it. Would you watch it? Would you watch it? Boots can fight Charlo. Do you think the only Lions, aren't they boys? Aren't they kind of like brothers? I know there should be no brotherhood in the game. You always hear who talk? I think it's Teo. I like Teofimo Lopez. I think he's great for boxing. He every now and then he says some wise shit, and he was clowning Shakur and Keyshawn for publicly making that pact about how they would never fight each other because they were brothers. And then Teo, his response to that was like, "Nah, this is the fight game." He was like, that shit shouldn't be occurring," and I kind of agree with him on that. Now, Boots and Charlo, man, these are like the Lions only guys, right? Like only Lions only. Like, did they have a falling out? Oh, my bad. I'm reading that all wrong. I said all that shit to say I'm wrong. When I was reading Boots versus Charlo, on my mind, I was thinking Errol Spence. I could see Boots fighting Charlo first. Big Charlo, little Charlo. Where the Charlos at? Where the Charlos at? Zerafa will be violently ugly, no distance. Julius, man, you've been on fire. I'm leaning that way too, big dog. Morataya, really? Okay, Julius, please come on. Do you want to come on the live stream and teach me? Is this strictly because Morataya's pro experience and Andy's lack of pro experience, or you think the Morataya's power is going to carry himself? And you think Morataya's power and experience is going to be enough to carry himself against Andy? Because Andy's been leveling up each fight, man. It's not like he's an Olympian. And I know you said in the Discord that you feel he left a lot in the amateurs, which he had a long ass AMI run. But you got to admit, man, fight to fight to fight, he It's not like he's leveled off like Ryan Garcia. That's the big, and that's something I talk about all the time. When you look at how a fighter evolves, the evolution of a guy. Sometimes the evolution is super drastic and very obvious. George Foreman retiring the first time and then being gone for 10 years and then coming back. And he was obviously, his body had changed and he had turned from a guy who used to, be able to parry the jab to a guy that just had a, jab and grab sort of thing. His speed was gone, reflexes were gone. That's kind of like a very obvious example of a guy who has to make adjustments in a career. Garcia has never made an adjustment in his career. He's always just relied on that hook. He stopped developing his skills. His feet are flat. But Andy Cruz, though, from what you saw, even his first 3-4 fights as a pro, to even his punching technique since he went to Philly and he trains at the Dungeon with Bozy, I mean, he's much more solidified and balanced in his feet, especially when he turns on his shots. And we know the recipe for power: speed creates force, force equals power. So I don't know, man. I still like Andy in that fight. Zerafa cashing out. Do you think that Zerafa is focused on, because all the rumors are, I mean, it's been like 5 years of this, that especially in Australia, that he wants the Tim Tszyu fight, mate. I think you say he's cashing out. I don't think so. I think we're going to see the most disciplined, the most focused, the most switched on Zerafa. He wants that. He thinks this fight, he beats Nikita, then he gets the Tszyu fight. It's why he fights. Does anybody want to come on and teach this dude? Young Money says my picks have been off. I went 16 for 17 last week. The week before, I went 15 for 16. So I've gone 32 out of 34 on my picks, and I'm not getting offended. I'm just finding humor in your ignorance. Nikita may thread the needle with that left. Kids show up in shape. They're both going to show up. He's the smaller dude. He's super inactive. He hasn't fought. I don't count that one-round destruction of that opponent. They just served him on a platter. Before that, he hadn't fought since the August before. I don't know, man. I'm torn, Boxing Booth. I'm torn. Maybe you could talk me into it. My instinct says Mick, but my heart says Nikita. I want Nikita to win. I like Nikita. I did a little interview sort of montage for Nikita a couple years ago. And, I talked to him a bit when I was working at Bondi Boxing, working with some fighters there. So he's a very likable character, and I like unique sort of characters. You see, did you watch what happened, the face-offs last night? He comes wearing that, he's wearing like a black shawl. Just people are like cooking him in the comment section. He's his own sort of guy. I like that. At some point, experience turns into regression. No. He's right. Yeah. Mileage. When that experience becomes mileage from wear and tear, then we start seeing regression. I agree. Coriel is now under the tutelage of Robert Garcia. Interested to see how that plays into the rematch. A lot of good work. I agree, Mar. I agree. We need that star back. We need the resubs. We need you boys to we need that star's missing by your name, Mar the Prince. Come on, baby. Boxing Booth. Biggs versus Tszyu rematch. Yeah. Dylan, man. Did anybody win money on Dylan Biggs in the Grand Prix? I know the boys in the Discord were throwing the odds up. The Bet365 had the odds, but we weren't getting them with Sportsbet. So in Australia, you were able to bet on the Grand Prix. By the time I figured that out, it had already been the final round, and I didn't really get to watch Dylan's all of his fights. I watched that last fight. I'm going to bring up so let's have a look at the fight card real quick. All right, guys, this is Friday night in Australia. This is the fight card that's going down in Brizzy. Tszyu versus Zerafa, McKean versus Vesuatu, Nelson Asofa Solomona versus Jeremy Lattimore. My boy Liam Talavaa is fighting Stevan Ivic. Liam Wilson versus Rodex Piala. Couldn't find a lot of tape on Rodex, but this is a guy, I think he's tailor-made for Liam's left hook. And then that is Anthony Mundine's son CJ fighting Jeffrey Matthews. There's some other cards. Where else we got? All right, this is the fight that I said if you could get odds, I've been looking for it. It's only Tuesday. Billy Polkinghorn versus Jamar Palawin. If you could get Billy Polk by stoppage, that I'm waiting for the method of victory props to drop, and then I'll be posting in the Discord and on YouTube and in our Patreon the picks. All the new Patreons, I say thank you. We started Patreon 3-4 weeks ago. It's another opportunity. It's another way you guys can help me out and support the channel and access our Discord. So some of you guys throughout the world aren't able to join on YouTube, but now you can on Patreon. The link is pinned. I put all of my picks in the Patreon as well. The Discord is the community, though. So in the Patreon, you're going to get all my picks. The Discord, though, is the community with all the sports. So you guys, guys are making friends in there. It's really dope. It's why I started this. The idea of gambling was never my intention, by the way, just to let you know. Errol was in Philly at Schuler's training and Breadman. There he is. Yo, Moore, what did you hear about it? Did you hear he was sparring? Of course, EJ's not going to go up to Philly to hit a bag. Did you hear who he was sparring with? Come on, Moore, let me know. Boots versus Virgil, one of the best fights to make. 100, Kiza. Let's make that fight. If that fight's in Vegas, I'm going. Boots versus, they'll probably do that. That should be a Vegas fight. They'll probably do it in Texas. If that's in Vegas, I'll go to Vegas for that. He called him out after his fight with Lima, said, I heard Baby Cub want that work. He can get it too. Jerron. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Jerron Charlo. Yeah, I could see that. Wallaby King in the crib. Wallaby King in the crib. Andy is 30 years old, never been 12. 12 rounds is a long time when you're You know what? I do like about Moritaya? I like his grit and determination. You know how some fighters are kind of free and flawless and effortless in there. Everything looks easy to them. And then the opposite of that is you have fighters who work for everything they have. They're determined in there. Moritaya, even in that last performance, look. So it's not like I'm a fanboy of Andy. It's when I think about what Andy does really well versus the entire package of Moritaya, I think it's also the trajectory of a career. I mean, Moritaya got elevated. I think with Andy's amateur legacy, I think it would be shocking if Andy doesn't become a world champion. This is one of the greatest amateurs ever. I'm not overthinking it. I think he looks great against Moritaya, mate. Does Mick have anything left after all these? He does. And that's it's good when we're betting our wallets, boys. It's really hard for me to put my wallet on the table. Digital wallet. Keeping in mind the durability questions of Zerafa. We know Nikita could take a shot. We've seen Nikita on the canvas before. We've seen Nikita, Nikita fights very proud. Different styles than his brother, but same energy. He has like a bloodlust in there. He's going to put himself in danger. And does Zerafa have the timing and the power to make Nikita pay? Nikita did get dropped against Jeff Horn's brother, Ben Horn. That's hard for me to get out of my mouth, man. I was watching that. That's hard for me to forget about. Ben Horn is a guy who very, very club level. And Nikita gave him openings in a short, it might have been a 6-rounder. And if that goes 10, Ben might have stopped Nikita. It's hard for me to get past that. I know matchups and that was a few years ago, but you mix that with Nikita's he hasn't been active, he's been injured. But it's a tricky one. Half unit, guys, half unit. You guys half unit here. Andy is the truth. Him and Loma, two of the best amateurs I've seen, but I'm worried he'll get knocked out in the pros. I don't know if have we seen Andy on the ground? Has Cruz been dropped? Elagos, I need you to sign back up, mate. You guys who are in remember to rejoin your membership on YouTube, boys. If Andy can take Moratai's power, he'll box circles around him. Has Andy been dropped in the pros? What up, playa? Man, I would not mind seeing Barrios win that fight against Garcia. Same, I ain't lying to you. I ain't lying. I'm cheekily going for Barrios. I got Curiel winning. What do you think about Oscar Duarte versus Hitchens? Is that official? If I'm a fan of Duarte, he's another one of these guys. The Kenneth Sims Jr. fight, it was close, but even though I tipped Kenny Sims, Duarte won that fight. He did. He also fights very determined. He's one of the nothing comes easy for Duarte. So from a fighter seeing somebody who grew up around the sport, it's admirable to watch fighters fight so determined. Does he beat Hitch? Nah. I rate Richardson Hitchens high, mate. I think Hitch is that dude. I think Hitch is very skilled. That guys, we have such a great division at 140. It's not. I take it back. I said it was top heavy last night on my live stream. 140 is freaking stacked, dude. Look at. I'll pull up the names from 1 to like 20. 140, man, overnight. So exciting. The division. Stacked. So many good names. I don't think Duarte could handle Hitchens over the entire fight. It's Hitchens' speed and his jab. Remember, guys, it's boxing, not knockout. And when you do the basics as well as Richardson Hitchens, you're going to be tough to beat. Remember, Andy is Cuban. Andy could. God. He ain't lying, though. He ain't lying. Zerafa quit against Laura. Watch that fight again. He could have continued. Yeah, he got steamrolled. Andy been fighting around the world for over a decade against the best comp. Yeah, so Julius is late. Julius is going Morataya. Let's pull these odds up, boys. This is in 2 weeks. Plus 210. Yeah. I think that I don't like these odds. I think this should be 50-50, but the money coming in and money coming out makes the odds. It's not like there's a boxing historian sitting behind the scenes creating these odds. This is all about money. Let's check Morataya's box rec. (23-0), 17 knockouts. Number 3 ranked. When I was watching the Abdullayev fight, It's not like Moritai is a perfect fighter though. Technically, Moritai has openings. He has flaws. Andy Cruz's speed is ridiculous, man. His timing, I don't know. I don't like the odds on it. Like, if you're an Andy Cruz fan, I get it. I don't like a guy with 6 pro fights being that big of a favorite against a real legit. He's a champion. Didn't Moritai get elevated? 45 pro rounds. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. So Antonio Moran wobbled Andy. He's never been down though, has he? Low key more. What's King saying? Low key Moritai versus Cruz is a prelude to Boots versus Virgil, Robert versus Bozy. King, where are you going on that fight? Where are you leaning? Moritai and Cruz. I just don't like $1.43 for Cruz. I mean that 199 though, you're almost getting even money. Cruz on points. Moritai on points is plus 625. God damn. We're talking about money plays, value plays. Look at the odds. People are thinking either one by knockout. I think they're getting Moritai's knockout to win ratio is obviously playing a factor there. I don't know, man. We got like what, 14 days to think about it. Why do you think that Andy can't move for 12 rounds? Hard to go. Moritai has like, you know what? Let's watch some tape. Hopefully I don't get. You know what, guys? I'm gonna start doing members only live streams. In those members only live streams, I'm allowed to play copywritten content as long as I don't monetize the stream. And we're gonna be able to break tape down together. So that's another value for you to join our Discord and join here on YouTube. Wallaby King. And all you guys who support me, it's only a couple bucks a month. We're gonna start doing live stream film study and talking about it. And you guys could come on the live streams as well. I'm gonna pull up more Ataya's socials real quick. We were watching his last fight. I'm using my old podcast account, so I'm gonna follow him. This isn't my personal Instagram account. This is my old podcast called Ungoogleable. This is Nakatia and Moritaya. The thing that I don't like about Moritaya, or something that never, it's his entrances. It's his setups, how he walks in. I know this is tough to see because this shit is fun. Come on, mate. Like, if you're not doing film study, if you're not watching boxing, if you're not working hard to bet on boxing, what are we really doing? This shit is fun. All right, so Cruz by decision is paying. Yeah, it's almost at you're almost getting plus money. 99% return, $1.99. I mean, those odds are enough. I like those odds. King of Fitness going heavy on that. You getting it or you getting that? I'm getting that. Cruz by decision is the play or fight to go the distance. I like it, Wallaby King. I like it. There's Julius. We need to get you back on the live stream, Big J. Bama. Anyone? Let's look at the odds. Tszyu Shakur. These odds suck. These are not. This is another fight that I think on pay is closer. I mean, talk about the disrespect. Shakur's never fought at 140. Teofimo's the champion. Teofimo's a plus 250. I mean, we're going to break down these fights. These are two of my favorite fighters of this era. Fingers crossed they come in 100%. I want to see the best versions of both guys. But from a betting perspective, once again, $1.35, it's a bit. I don't like the odds on that to take Shakur. Even Shakur on points, 54% return. Teofimo's he has a bag on him, and you don't know which version you're gonna get. It's called gambling for a reason. I could see you throwing a sneaky hundo on Tszyu on the money line, or Tszyu on points at plus 460. Throw a little sneaky hundo on that. Let's go. Now, I think Shakur wins, to be honest with you. But look, guys, we have to clarify something. There's a big difference between this, from my perspective, who I break down and say who is going to win a fight, and then who I'm betting on. Like, there's a difference. This is a boxing community. So we watch boxing. I'm going to be watching boxing in the backyard, even if I can't gamble on it. I'm not a gamble. This isn't like a gambling first sort of thing. But gambling is an outcome of us growing up in the ring, us growing up around boxing, it being our favorite sport, right? So with that in mind, when we're looking at these odds, it's like, I think Shakur's going to win, but like, am I going to bet on that? I might put it on, over-unders. I think Shakur on points, the over. But I mean, Teofimo, has Shakur ever fought anyone like Teofimo? With that, his explosivity, his athleticness. Teo's been in there with some Hall of Famers. We could start dissecting, because you have to do it. We could start dissecting resumes. I don't think it's shocking to say Tszyu has a better resume. We could start dissecting, naturally God-given talents. They both have God-given talents. They're both extremely gifted in what they do. It's going to come down to, what do you like more? Now, the fan bases are going to like one side versus the other, and it's going to be split. But, from a coaching perspective and a skill set, a value perspective, who does what better? Consistency, Shakur, he's never lost. Way more consistent at winning than Teofimo Lopez, right? Psychologically, Shakur. We've seen Tszyu have psychological letdowns. Defense, Shakur. Timing, Shakur. But other than that, you give the power to Tszyu. You give, some people are saying it's hard for me to say Shakur's faster than Tszyu. Tszyu has speed too, and his speed's a bit different. His speed is like that athletic, explosive speed. Shakur's is more pretty. Shakur has like this pretty reflex speed. So that's different. I think we're going to see a virtuoso performance by whoever wins. And I think stylistically, the matchup is going to give that to us. I don't think it's going to be a boring fight. Leaning Cruz decision on a 7 parlay. I like that. What's up, Nick? I just finished my tape. Chavez versus Gucci. Lean. Yeah, so Nick, this fight, the first fight left a really bad taste in my mouth. We covered the first fight. I don't know. I think you're an OG. You've been Gucci. He had all that hype on him. You know, has the nickname, has the snap, has the pop, the cult following. But Jorge Chavez, that motherfucker had his hard hat on. He came in there. I thought he won the fight. I thought we got a gift draw. Even though, like, on my book, the draw, that was another one of these weekends where I went 15 out of 15, but the draw ruined the parlay because sports bet at the time. That's why I only take bet 365. I thought Jorge won that fight, to be honest with you. I'm probably gonna lean on Chavez. I don't like I didn't unless Gucci just had a he didn't I don't think he won that first fight, Nick. And I think the matchup is wrong. I think Chavez's style is kind of wrong for Gucci. I don't think Gucci is as nice as he thinks with his power. And I think Chavez is a very determined guy in how he fights. The space and range that he fought Gucci in, I thought it was 7-3. Like, I thought it was a wide decision for Jorge. So, with that in mind, how many more adjustments could one make, if any, in a short amount of time? Was Gucci 100%? I don't know. Right now, I'm leaning Chavez. I want to know your take. I like Tszyu, but it depends which. You think it depends which Shakur shows up? I disagree. I 100% think it's what Tszyu shows up. The Tszyu who, I mean, he didn't fight that well against Steve Claggett. He definitely didn't fight that well against Sandor Martin. He looked great against Josh Taylor. I think his style too. I mean, is Teo still in his? This sounds crazy. When is Teo? I mean, has he peaked? Has he peaked, plateaued with his skills? Because that 20-year-old Teo, that 21-year-old Teofimo Lopez is different. I don't know. We'll see. A little bit bigger, a little bit slower. I agree, King. My picks, I'm on the Moses over 5.5, which Franklin, I ain't mad at it. Willie versus Ezra. I forgot Willie versus Ezra is coming up. Curiel Rocha. I hope Teo versus Shakur isn't a boring. I don't think it's going to be. You got guys, Shakur versus Zepeda. Everybody thought that fight was going to go a specific way. People were saying, you look at Zepeda's record going into that fight, 90%, 95% career knockout to win ratio. You know, Shakur was coming off the fight against the Brit, and then everybody still has the bad taste in his mouth from fighting Edwin De Los Santos. And Shakur stood his ground and fought Zepeda, a swarmer, a pressure fighter, a volume guy, fought him, catch and countered him the entire time, was shooting him the entire time. So, I mean, that fight didn't go. That fight was exciting. Keyshawn 1-6. Damn, y'all disrespectful, boy. You think he's just gonna tear through Ortiz like that? You think he's just gonna tear through Ortiz like that? Joy, I gotta figure out Discord more though. I'm part of one already. Yeah, Wallaby. It's our community is a bit different than most. I don't know. Look, I don't know much about Discord either. I just know that I run one. I never even heard of it until we started one. It is a VIP only, so it's not a public Discord, so you don't have to deal with trolls. We do have the occasional troll in there, but then they just get either kicked out or they get forced out. I'll show you what it looks like. And it's not just boxing. So we're at about 350 people. You post your bet slips here. Everybody can post their bet slips. We have an NBA channel. Now, this comes with the membership. It's only a couple bucks a month, guys. A couple bucks a month gets you into the door. We got some real big hitters in here, too. That's the NBA channel. This is the NFL. I got a little parlay cooking for tonight's game, too, boys. So this is the NFL channel. This is my level 3 fitness channel. So I'm an online coach. So the boys in there who pay for the level 3 membership, I'm their fitness coach. NHL hockey. This is a hockey channel. Soccer. The boys started an off-topic section where they're talking about trading crypto. This is like a community section, and this is our bread and butter. This is boxing and MMA. So yeah, it literally is kind of self-explanatory, and I put my picks. These are my picks. So every week I give you my picks. Who's gonna win? I went last week. This is how crazy people are in the world that we live in. Last week I went 15. I won my first 15 picks, right? I hit 15. I don't know how many out there took Peter Milas by knockout at plus 190, but I did. This is Ajit Cabello and Javier Herrera by stoppage plus Gleb on the money line. I did. We hit the under on Ajit. I did. So we're just hitting. We hit our long parlay, this sneaky one, 9-legger, plus 110. But you know the realm, the business I'm in. I missed one fight. I took Subriel, and all the trolls come out. So I'm used to it. It's funny because you could go 16 for 17, and then you don't know shit about boxing if you miss one fight. But that's the community, Wallaby. And if you want to join, like I said, you could either join through Patreon or through YouTube. And if you have any questions, just DM me. I'm very reachable. All these boys in this chat have heard my voice one-on-one before. Yo, Willie, I was talking about this, boy. I think the draw might be live. I think we might see more of the same. Could we have the repeat draw? We've seen this happen before. The repeat draw, it's not, it's a rare occurrence, but it could happen. Damn, Julius is taking Teofimo Lopez over Shakur. Hot take. What's up, Big Mike? I appreciate you checking in. Let's get it. I just tuned. What'd you hear sent from Pet? Are you talking about the Teo versus Shakur conversation? We're about 52 minutes in, guys. Wherever you are in the world, I say thank you. Let's like this video. I'm going to keep it on for a little bit more. You guys are still popping off. Is Jermaine more skilled than Keyshawn? Keyshawn is silver medalist. I think Keyshawn's going to look great. I'm a Keyshawn Davis fan. Let's not get it twisted. I'm a Jermaine Ortiz fan too, though. He's fought. I mean, he's fought. He's had the tougher road. Keyshawn, he's never fought at 40 either, though. Where's his head at? New fight camp? There's a lot of unknowns with Keyshawn right now, man. When we talk about a very determined fighter, once again, I put Jermaine Ortiz in that category. Determined. Yeah, he's on. I'm 0-3. I'm 0-3 in Subriel's last 3 fights. He's on my no bet list. Fuck that. Except for Pet. If the Andy Cruz shows up for the Moran fight, it will get competitive. But I expect to see the bet 100%. I think Andy Cruz is one of these fighters. There's fighters that come around every now and then that you just know they're going to be a world champion. If he can't beat Raymond Morataya, he's not going to be a world champion. I think he's going to look great against Morataya. I think that style. Dude, speed kills, dude. Andy is legit, dude. I don't know what people. I am not down Andy. Maybe I'm too high on the speed, skills, reflexes, timing, Bozy, but I do not see Morataya beating Andy Cruz, man. I just don't like the odds right now on that fight. Rafa is special. If we're talking about Rafa Espinosa, I agree. He's one of my favorite fighters. How he just, he 2 fights ago when he fought the Texas kid and just totally broke him down, mate. Just how he operates. Yeah, it is. I agree. Rafa Robesi won a bit like Smith Matias, and that sometimes you can't tell someone's ceiling from their resume. I think Rafa Robesi was kind of more like akin to when we're talking about a guy with a lot of pro fights and a guy with not a lot of pro fights. I would probably categorize it like that, sort of like Badr Gaziev versus Jazza Dickens. If we're trying to like categorize the pre-fight setup and then the outcome, or like a minus the steroids or minus the failed drug tests, the Frankie Rod versus Golovkin. You know, when we're seeing these time and time again, we might be seeing one with Andy Cruz and Murataya though. We've seen it. You know, the last 12 months we've seen a lot of this. I just don't think Andy Cruz is going to lose to Murataya. I would put Smith Matthias like it, the thing about Smith Matthias, it's not like Smith went to the hospital too. Both guys went to the hospital. It's just that Subriel wasn't expecting Dalton's right hand every time on the return. Subriel wasn't expecting Dalton to be that big of a dog. And it's exactly the same Subriel we've always seen. He was doing the exact same thing. He was just getting hit with a guy who had speed, and speed creates power. And Dalton Smith's backhand was on point. It was gorgeous. He was always giving receipts out. He wouldn't just. And one of my favorite moments was in between. I think he gets stopped in the fifth. So in between the fourth and fifth, the corner, Dalton's camp is telling him to calm down and telling him, why is he fighting like this? You don't have to fight him like this. And Dalton's not listening to it. He had already known. He had felt the power. He was pushing his corner off of him to get back into the ring. And I was like, my bet is cooked. I was good. See, that's where we differ. That's where the trolls, I lose a bet. Oh, I was wrong. I bet over, predicting thousands of matches a year. I was wrong. Oh, and your negative comments. I'm so sad. You're crazy. I lost that bet, but it was dude. Dalton Smith was a joy to watch. I'm a fan, and that's where we differ. The trolls and myself. I'm in it for the love of the game, boy. You're not gonna get them all right. I was happy to be wrong. I said I did not think Dalton had it in him to do what he did, and there was questions. I thought, dude, Subriel gave the first round away like he always does. The second round, he turned it up. And Dalton was like, and then Dalton came back in the third. He was like, this isn't gonna how it's gonna go. And then the fourth round was a slugfest. Both guys were getting hit with some bombs. Dalton Smith was out of position multiple times. His face was swelled. I mean, look after the fight. It wasn't a clean performance. He by no means did he, but it was the durability and the lack of defense and Dalton's speed and his timing on his right hand, all the small little technical variables that won him that fight. It was fun to watch. And if you guys think that I'm not a degenerate gambler, by the way. So I could always tell who are degenerate gamblers by if their bet loses, they turn into a fucking dickhead. Like, I lost my bet. I had a single bet. I won my other 15 bets, and I was happy. I was pissed I lost because I took Subaru, but I just watched a fucking 5-round war. So I'm like this. And so for all the trolls out there, man, keep coming. You guys are, hopefully you guys are doing well. I got nothing but love for you. We still good. Cruise by stoppage. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, you got to cruise by stoppage, boy. I'm not, look, don't even bring Brandon Figueroa up around me. Figueroa brothers, no bet list. Kiza, there's some great fights coming up, boys. We're an hour in. Guys, I started my night live stream. I started my nightly live stream last night. I'm going to do another nightly live stream. I'm going to be going live tonight at 7:30. It's 9:30. So in 10 hours, you'll get to see my big ass head again in 10 hours. All the support. I got love for you boys. Let's stay hard. What's the dude? One of my online clients says, Johnny, stay hard. I was like, what kind of hard are we talking about? What are we talking about? Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one.